aggression. Well, it was close. Really, I mean, Duran would intimidate his opponents,
right.
and I guess he got to me also.
Yeah. And then you go to New Orleans.
Aggression. Well, it was close. Really, I mean, Duran would intimidate his opponents,
right.
and I guess he got to me also.
Yeah. And then you go to New Orleans, and it's a different story. How then were you able to overcome that and defeat him? Because I don't think a lot of people ever quite knew what happened. He was complaining about having iced tea and eating steak before the match and that kind of stuff.
I think it was salami.
Salami.
No, he claimed that he had severe stomach cramps, which he couldn't continue with. He said it was very severe. But he also stated at one of the press conferences in Miami recently that he's going to disclose what exactly happened.
Oh, well, we'll be on the edge of our seats for that. But so now the stage is set after all of these years. This is going to be, I think, a great fight, don't you?
Well, I tell you, there's perception that people have. A lot of this quote-unquote boxing experts and critics say, like my last fight against Tommy Hearns, the perception of Hearns was the fact that he was a punch ticket, no chin, no legs.
Yeah.
Couple rounds, I'll knock him out. Someone didn't tell Tommy Hearns that.
Right.
Because it was a tough fight. He was able to rise to the occasion because he was fighting me.
Yeah.
The same thing with Roberto Duran. He's like a little heavy, but that's Duran. I mean, Duran loves to eat.
Yeah.
But he gets down.
He'll get into the ring at what, about 320, 350?
No, Dave. I tell you, Duran's gonna be in shape.
Yeah.
I know that, and I don't care what anyone says because he's a champ. He's been there before.
You know what? I hear people talking about it, and I read articles. People say we don't need this fight. These guys have been great champions in their own right. They should retire. They're too old. It's the senior circuit. Well, if you feel like you want to fight and he feels like he wants to fight, to me that's going to be a very entertaining fight because you guys are both very, very good fighters, and because of the history behind it. So I think that that's plenty of justification to have it.
Well, a lot of people say the fight shouldn't take place and the fight shouldn't happen. Who's interested in the fight? There's about 2,000 seats left. Yeah. And it's going to be at the Mirage, and I'll be the opening act.
Yeah, wow. So now, well, how did you feel about that draw with Hearns?
I wasn't satisfied. I think the fact that Tommy Hearns fought a superb fight. I don't know who the guy was he was fighting, but one thing about it, I could take my hat off to Tommy Hearns.
Now, when you say that, what does that mean? You were not pleased with your own performance?
No. One thing about boxing, you see, on the job, you can have a bad day at the office and you get reprimanded. But in boxing, if you look bad, your career's over. Yeah. To most of the boxing people.
Yeah, you're sleeping.
Well, you're kind of being lazy.
Yeah.
But these things happen, but, I'm pretty hard on myself.
And how are other things? How are your kids? How are they doing?
My son, Ray, I won't say little Ray, but he's playing varsity football.
How old a kid is he?
He's 15.
Isn't that amazing that he's 15? I can remember a long time ago you were doing those 7-Up commercials, and he's about like this big. Remember that?
A little smaller than that.
Yeah.
But he's so big, he's about 162 pounds now.
Man.
And he doesn't wear my shoes anymore, I can tell you last time. But he's a good kid. He has his life together.
Yeah, and you have another son who's...
Jarrell, he's 5 years old, and he's so precocious. I don't know what he's going to be because this is the only kid, 5 years old, David, that can rationalize everything. So I think he's going to be a politician.
Now, here's a question you get a million times, and I'll just throw it out, and you can answer it or not. But what if one of these guys at one point says to you, I've been working out with the gloves, and I'm thinking I'm going into the ring, and I'd like to fight big sweaty guys for a living. What,
My son?
Yeah, one of your kids decided that they were going to. What would you say to him? Because you've really, I mean, you're the exception in the world of boxing. You've had a long, long career.
Well, if my son really said that, I'd check to see whether or not he is truly my son. Because I think my kids are pretty much, their mind's already made up. Ray wants to be a football player. He wants to get into computers and what have you. And again, Jarrell, I mean, he don't know what he wants to be. Yeah. But if he really wanted to do that because of me, I would not encourage that.
And when are you thinking about retiring again?
If I said after this fight here, you wouldn't believe me anyway. I've said it too many times.
No, but see, this time I really would. Say you go in there and you beat Duran. Say you beat Duran. To me, I'm thinking, well, of course, then there's Hagler down the road, too. All right, Ray, right here. Come on, try it. Look out, try it. I mean, see, two of them. Oh, there, you'd have been gone. Look at that. I'm serious. I came that close to ending your career. And you're sitting there defenseless.
Well, that was close, though. It really was close.
Yeah.
I would have sued you so bad.
No. Better mind my own business. Good luck. I'll be looking forward to this fight. I think it's got all the drama you'd ever want. Ray Leonard, folks. We'll be right back.